If I asked you to name one thing about Amy Winehouse's makeup, what would you say? How about Adele or Lana Del Rey? Rockers and metalheads. What do you immediately picture when you think of Ozzy Osbourne, Adam Lambert, or Billie Joe Armstrong? The answer? Their iconic eyeliner, a makeup staple found in any beauty girlie's cosmetics bag. You know, the one that probably needs a wash. Hi, beauty besties. Welcome to the second episode of Deb's Your Grandma's Activism, our video mini-series exploring the role that makeup and beauty has played in activism. Last time, we looked at how red lipstick was used to create social change. Today, we'll be unpacking eyeliner's impact across the world. There's more to this product than meets the eye. As we went on the wild journey of learning how to use eyeliner, be it through YouTube tutorials or trial and error, we all found our preferred aesthetic, from a cute, subtle flick to a bold wing that demands attention. There's a story about each style, and many are about rebellion and resistance. But where did eyeliner come from? Take a trip with me at least 15,000 years into the past to, you guessed it, ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq. The people of these ancient lands wore kohl, a mixture of mostly lead, big yikes, and a mixing substance like oil, water, or even animal fat, bigger yikes. Although people of all classes and genders wore kohl, most people today, whether they know it or not, associate it with the stunning and badass Queen Nefertiti who ruled Egypt alongside her husband. His name's not important. Because of how often ancient Romans and Greeks, well, let's say, interacted with people from Egypt and the Middle East, kohl quickly became popular in what is now Europe too. But that didn't last very long in the West. Like lipstick, eyeliner was frowned upon, to use a nice euphemism, by the upper and ruling classes throughout all three Middle Ages. Yeah, there were three: the Renaissance, the 1700s, and the 1800s. It was considered nasty, worn only by sex workers and other undesirables. If you watched our first episode, you'll remember that Queen Vicky made wearing any makeup illegal in the second half of the 1800s, and that included eyeliner. But some people's attitudes started shifting as the 20th century kicked off. In 1922, King Tutankhamun's tomb was opened, and this opened the door for an obsession with Egyptian culture, sometimes called Egyptomania by historians. The famous American flappers of the 1920s took a touch of inspo from the discoveries being made during this time. They wore heavy eyeliner in rebellion against the conservative attitudes of the time. A period when women were expected to be domestic, quiet, and, most importantly, plain. This was in combination with their scantily short dresses, their bare arms, and their public smoking and drinking, all of which sent a single message: I do what I want, sir, die mad about it. Ironically, by the time the 1930s rolled around, wearing makeup was considered essential for a woman to be seen as polite and respectful. proper women wore makeup. You didn't leave the house without a fully painted mug. It just wasn't right. After all, looking good for men's benefit and pleasure was the most important thing in the mid-20th century. So the women who weren't happy about being a man's accessory and servant kept their eyeliner, but began using it in incredibly different ways. In the 1960s, fashion icons like the first supermodel, Twiggy, started breaking free of the delicate little cat eye flick. Western women experimented with graphic eyeliner that was way outside of what was considered acceptable at the time. Rather than a small subtle wing that simply accentuated the eye shape, these women drew crazy lines, patterns, and shapes, a trend that re-emerged not too long ago. But as with most non-conformist aesthetics, this trend eventually became mainstream in the 1970s. During this decade, women won a wide range of empowering rights, like the right to a safe abortion, thanks to the groundbreaking Supreme Court case, Roe versus Wade. Women could receive a credit card without a man's permission, and they could be prescribed birth control, even if they weren't married. Many people started playing around with and reversing the strict gender norms and rules that had been standard in society for pretty much all of human history up until this point. Men and other gender non-conforming people also started wearing eyeliner, sending the message that makeup wasn't just for women. Here we saw the beginnings of guyliner in modern alternative culture. It was popularized by artists like Prince, well, the artist formerly known as Prince, singer Boy George, and literally any member of the rock band Motley Crue. This very messy style of eyeliner continued to grow even more popular in the underground and counterculture, grunge and punk scenes of the 1980s and 1990s, with a famous example being none other than Kurt Cobain, lead singer of Nirvana. Goths famously loved their excessive raccoon eyes too. Just look at Robert Smith, lead singer of The Cure. So far, we've covered history focused mainly on white people in the West. But what about people of color in the West and cultures outside of the Western Hemisphere? We'll find that eyeliner was, and still is, often used as a symbol of resistance in other cultures across the world and even within America and Europe. In Iran, for example, makeup is largely banned and women are required to be almost completely covered by their clothing. This modest dress means that often only their face or even just their eyes are left uncovered. To protest safely, some women wear sorme, a mixture of ground stones, and they wear it to rebel against the oppressive cultural norms and restrictive laws enforced by the so-called morality police. In the United States, Mexican and other Latina women belonging to the Chola subculture wear heavy eyeliner and dark-lined lips to differentiate themselves from white American women. It's a visual representation of their refusal to give up their identity, to blend in with a culture that's historically oppressed and discriminated against them. Many indigenous North American women wear eyeliner to emphasize the unique shape of their eyes. Similar to the cholas, this is a way for these women to take pride in their culture and heritage in the face of increasing pressure to conform to Western beauty standards. As this little field trip through space and time has shown us, eyeliner often means something so much more than just making your eyes look pretty. For many, it's a way to fly in the face of what's socially acceptable or to celebrate their roots. And any way you slice it, these people look amazing while doing it. So next time you grab your gel pot or stick liner, take a moment to think about and appreciate the power this cosmetic holds. Well, that's the finishing touch for today's episode. But smash the like and follow button to stay tuned, because in the next episode, we'll be unpacking how hair has been used in almost countless protests and movements. Bye!